20 tips for the perfect American road trip. Hey, fellow explorers, I'm Chris from Yellow Productions, and I'm joined by my special guest, Josh from California Through My Lens, who is my favorite road trip YouTuber. He's done over 50,000 road trip miles in the Americas. And Josh, thanks so much for joining me today.
It's an honor to be your favorite road trip YouTuber.
Yes.
I've definitely put a lot of miles on and done a lot of road trips over the course of my life. So I'm excited to talk about the perfect road trip to help your fans plan one.
And we figured what better place to do this discussion than inside of a car, since we're talking about road trips.
We're ready to go. We even got this stuff for children.
That's right. If you look at the back and you're like, what is that junk? That is all my junk for the 5-year-old curious princess in the back. That's right. All right, keeping it real.
Keeping it real.
So the first tip we have for you is to plan ahead. And by the way, I think as we go on this, Josh and I have different styles, and so we'll have a little bit different tips. Just a little bit, Josh says. I like yellow, he likes black.
Yeah,
there we go.
They're like the complete opposite.
But for me, I think a really good road trip starts from good planning. So you gotta know where you're going, you gotta know the good routes, you gotta know where you're staying. What I generally like to do, I like to take a Google Doc. This is not our road trip outline. This is our outline for what we're saying today. But I'll generally open up Google Docs and I'll put in rough nights that we're gonna go to, what the rough attractions that we're gonna see, so that as we get out there, we don't just kind of say, oh, there's nothing to do. I guess I'll go back to my hotel room. And we didn't even know that the world's largest ball of twine was just 3 blocks down that way. Josh, what's your plan?
I am a huge fan of Google Maps as well. I always create a new map and then I put all of like the pins on the map.
Definitely.
For like any road trip that I'm going on. That way at least I have like kind of like the ideas and I don't miss anything if I like pull up the map. So I definitely am a huge fan of creating maps. I probably have like 100 of them in my Google Map thing.
So like in Google Maps, we're here in Orange. You can click on something like the Schaefer house. This is the oldest house in Orange. And you can click saved and you can save it to one of your lists. And then when you're looking at Google Maps, it just has like a little flag on it. And so if you put like tons of flags on things, that's also a great way to be like, where is that thing? I don't know. And as you're driving around, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm near right something that I wanted to go to.
And it's a great way to share it too. Like if like a friend or something is like, hey, I want to do the Alaska Highway road trip or whatever. It's like, I can literally just send the map of all the places that I stopped at and they already have a pre-built map ready for them to go.
Do you use different lists or pins for like attractions versus restaurants, or do you just put them all?
Oh no, I'm like just super like throw everything on there, keep it all the same color, you know?
Okay.
I'm not a good organizer. That's definitely something I struggle with.
Because in Google Maps, you can have different like icons for the different lists. And so sometimes we will do like attractions or the green flag and then restaurants or the heart or something like that.
That's a much better way to do it.
Okay.
Follow his direction.
Okay. So when you're planning your road trip, important things I think to look at are planning to be at destinations when things are open. If you're like if you're like in a lot of small rural towns, Sunday, you might find nothing is open, or maybe nothing's open at night. Also, think about avoiding big cities during rush hour. You know, you definitely don't want to be going through downtown Los Angeles 3-4 p.m. on a Friday. You will absolutely have your soul sucked by the traffic.
But Chris, I think number 2 should be don't overplan.
Oh, all right, okay.
Because just like yellow and black, I'm also a planner to a certain extent. But you know, when I go on road trips, there have been many road trips where I will just not have a hotel booked that night and I'll drive and I'll be seeing things and I'll kind of just decide where it is that I'm going to stay. This is definitely not something to do on places like Pacific Coast Highway. Like definitely get those ones in advance.
Big Sur, right? They book up and there's only
months
3
in advance,
right?
And you might have to drive another 100 miles to find a hotel or something. But I mean, I think as much as you can, there's a lot of fun in just the journey kind of developing as you're driving, at least for me. And so like, you know, having a good structure, but also giving like a little bit of leeway for not over planning too much.
Yeah, no, good tip. I have an upcoming trip that I'll be doing around Christmas, New Year's this year, where I'm gonna go to Vegas and then I'm gonna go to San Francisco. And I don't exactly know what I'm gonna do in the middle yet.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the weather is gonna be and all those things, whether I'll be able to take the high road through Lake Tahoe or whether I'll need to go around through Bakersfield. And so, yes, my plan is actually to just plan out those 3 days in the middle. The day before.
See what you have, where you're in the mood for while you're going. You know, maybe you're in the mood for the desert. Maybe you're like, I want to see some snow. That's the direction that you go on that road trip with the destination already known.
what I find people do in over planning also is they're like over aggressive about what they think they can do in a day.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I use Google Maps and Google Maps told me it's 2 hours from here to there. Except you looked at that at 2 in the morning. You looked at that without traffic. You didn't consider that you'll want to eat. You didn't consider you want to stop at the gift shop. So I think it's better to be a little less aggressive so you actually have a good time while you're driving. Tip number 3 is to master the art of the hub and spoke itinerary. You know,
You may be saying, what's the hub and spoke?
All right, well, I'm going to tell you. So the hub and the spoke is, instead of just saying every night in a different hotel, consider 1 or 2 hubs along your trip that then you take day trips out from there. It gets tiring every single day to pack and unpack. So if you can find a base on your trip that you can spend 2 or 3 days, that's also a good way to do like laundry and things like that and just relax a little bit.
I didn't actually know that I was doing the hub and spoke.
Oh,
I did it once.
Okay, yeah.
In Page, Arizona is the perfect hub and spoke, because from there you can go to the Grand Canyon and back, you can go to Antelope Canyon and back, you can go to Monument Valley and back, and you can just base it.
Yeah.
And the hub is Page. So
yes.
I learned a new term and I already am using it. I think that's a great tip.
All right, great. Store that one for later.
Yeah. All right, so number 4 is to choose your vehicle and to get it road ready. So I have done lots of road trips over the course of my channel, and
50,000 miles of them.
yeah, a lot of them. And so some of them have been in my own personal car and some have been in rental cars. But when I do my own personal car, I make sure that I get an oil change. I make sure that I check the tires and I rotate them. I take it to a mechanic that I trust to make sure he looks over everything, because I don't want to be, you know, in the middle of remote Alaska or something and have my car go out.
Bad times.
And you know, luckily I've done 12,000 mile road trips with that car and had no issues. But it's a lot easier when you're just getting a rental car, especially if you're from a reputable company. You know that they're, you know, checking all of those things for you usually. Yeah. Or, I mean, I've actually had an issue where I was driving Route 66. I had a rental car from Hertz, and the tire got really kind of bald on one of the drives that we were doing, and I just pulled into another Hertz in Tulsa, switched the car out, and kept going. So there's a lot of value in being able to do a rental car as well.
Yes. What do you drive for your car, Josh?
I have a Chevy Traverse. That's like the road trip beast that my dad and I have just taken. We drove from California to Alaska one summer, California to New York the other summer, and it's been fantastic. So.
Yeah. For my personal car, we're in a Lexus NX here, and people always go, and Josh even said this when he rolled up to my car today, Chris, why is your car not yellow?
I was a little disappointed.
Yeah, he was. The license plates say yellow. My dad drives the yellow car, so the Lexus IS300.
You can't both drive the yellow car. You could have been rolling together. That'd have been pretty cool.
Yeah, we could. I had to get the daddy mobile, so I had to upgrade to the SUV, and so orange is the current rarest color that Lexus makes in the...
I haven't seen very many orange cars, so that's true. Orange Productions, second channel.
Yes. But I think in the note of cars, also, if you're going to places that snow, particularly if you're in California, then you need to consider snow chains, which if you're driving in the snow, you either need a 4-wheel drive car, or you need something with snow chains, or you need winter tires. And so those are all things to consider on your route and on your vehicle. It is often hard from a rental company to get snow tires, but you can absolutely buy snow chains that then you can put on your car and use multiple times.
Yeah, they'll have like universal snow chains. So it's like, you know, if you don't exactly know what type of tire you have, like sometimes you can have those as like a last resort, you know, if you need them. But I always have snow chains, even in the summer. In the very back of my Chevy Traverse, there's like the little hidden compartment. I just leave the chains in there, so that way I never have to remember to put them in if I need to.
Spare tire. Spare tire
always,
in your car?
Always have a spare tire.
That's right.
You get too much remote driving, you have to have a spare tire.
So my 5th tip is to master the art of the 3-bag packing system.
It's like the hub and spoke.
It is like the hub and spoke. So the 3-bag packing system is to have one bag that you can have in the car that's like a big bag with a lot of stuff. If you're on a road trip for a couple weeks, you don't want to be bringing in that bag every day into the hotel room. So then the second bag is having a small bag you can take into the hotel room, and then the third bag is having something that you can have for like while you're out in the day, your backpack, a shoulder bag, or something like that. You can even do your packing or repacking while you're in the car. Josh, I don't know, what do you do for...
It's another great tip that I don't do.
Okay, you just carry the gigantic suitcase?
I throw my big suitcase in every night, and I'm always like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
So apparently I just need to have the 3-bag system. I mean, like, I have a backpack for all my camera gear, and I have my suitcase. I mean, I definitely have, like, in my older age, moved to the very minimal, like, carry-on packing. Like, I'm all about like one bag packing.
Much stuff.
Yeah, buying like socks I can wear like 4 times because they're wool and all that kind of stuff. So I do try to keep it as small as possible. Having a black shirt, you don't know if I've worn this 3 days or 1 day. You have no idea. So that type of thing. But Chris's idea is much better.
Something Josh and I have in common, where he probably packs all black shirts, I pack all yellow shirts, so that way we'd never confuse our suitcases.
That's a YouTube tip right there.
Yeah, that's right.
You never know what day we're filming on. You never know, it's easy for continuity.
You never know if we filmed tip 20 in this video before we filmed tip number 1.
Yep.
That's right.
All right, number 6 is to download your digital world. And this is, we kind of touched on this a little bit, but one thing that I always do is whenever I'm going somewhere, I create an offline Google map that I can have without having a service. You can do that on Android, you can do that on iPhone. Sure, there's lots of great resources on how to do that, but downloading something like that, because you never know when you're gonna have reception. Some places I've thought I was gonna have reception and I didn't. Some places I didn't think I'd have reception and I did. And at least having a map, because you can actually get driving directions offline if you have the map downloaded. So for me, that's like, I never leave the hotel room without doing that.
Super key, super key. I agree with you. And when I look at downloading the offline maps, like Google will suggest some based on maybe where it thinks you're going. I always just draw big boxes myself because it's one where like I might go and say, well, I might go that way because I might spontaneously plan it. The other thing I think is important to download, music, if you want to listen to music and you think you're in the middle of nowhere. And 2, if you've got kids and they like to watch cartoons or like to watch movies, make sure they've got that content downloaded to their tablets. Yeah.
All right, number 7 is to research the one main thing at every stop. It's like, when you're going to LA, you want to see the Hollywood sign, you want to see the Walk of Fame. Those are probably things you could think of without even having to do any research. But if you dive a little deeper, then maybe you'll find this amazing taco shop that you really, really wanted to try. Or in San Diego, they have the California burrito, which you can't really get anywhere else in the United States. So maybe it's something you want to try when you're in San Diego. So kind of having that one thing that's maybe a little bit deeper or a little bit of a hidden gem can really help to kind of open up a city or open up a road trip for you and experience it a little bit more like a local, which I prefer when I'm on a road trip. I want to see the big things, but I also want to see like a small thing or something that might be a little bit more unique when you're in a city.
When I was in a small town in Indiana, the number one thing in Indiana that I didn't know until I got there, but that I found when I was researching it, was they have a statue of the future birthplace of Captain Janeway from Star Trek.
All right.
Yeah, so it's her
there
future birthplace that they have a bust of Captain Janeway, and it's one of those to be like, how could I miss this in this town?
And you probably wouldn't find that on TripAdvisor or something. You gotta, gotta go deep for that one.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so those are all the things to help you plan your trip. Now let's talk about some tips on your journey. And the first tip I've got for you is the 2-hour rule, which is don't sit for more than 2 hours. Like, sitting is the new smoking, and so as you're out and about, look for things to stop. If you've been driving for a couple hours and that viewpoint comes there, even if it doesn't look that great, stop at the viewpoint, get out, stretch out a bit, go for a little bit of a 5-minute walk, and I think it'll save you and save your back. The 10-hour power drive is just the way to like really be hating your life at the end of the day.
I think on a road trip with me, you probably would prefer the 2-hour actually driving.
Oh, because you stop so often?
Like every 6 minutes to get out for something that like a 2-hour drive could take like the entire day. So there's both ways to do that, but I would agree with Chris that like I got a Tesla a couple years ago, and the fact that I have to stop and charge and then I have to spend like 30 minutes charging has really helped my family's enjoyment of road trips with me, because it's like I'm either doing something where I'm stopping all the time, or I'm like, I just want to get to the destination. Yeah. And the Tesla basically forces me to have to get out and explore and do that. And so I think both of those ways are good. But
So either be mindful about it or drive a Tesla.
Yeah, or just stop all the time, and it's okay too. Just don't plan your hotel at the end of the day. All right, number 9 is to embrace the roadside attraction. If you follow my channel, you know that I am a sucker for the world's largest, the world's smallest, the world's whatever thing on a trip, and I seek those things out. Like, I love finding the most unique, weird spot that I can go to, be that the Cabazon dinosaurs, the world's largest ball of twine, or even a couple weeks ago I was in Williams and they have a thing called the Poozy, Museum, which is a dinosaur poop museum.
wow.
And I mean, like, that was one of the kids' highlights.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you went in, but I shouldn't even ask.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
no,
I hadn't. Yeah, all right.
I literally made sure that I didn't leave Williams until it opened.
Okay, good.
So I was waiting for the museum to open to go.
Alright.
I mean, I to me, that's the most fun thing about a road trip is the roadside attractions, because they're just so unique, and they're one of the things you can find chains and everything everywhere you go, but you can only find these roadside attractions on, you know, they're very original, and
yes,
you can only find it on the route you're on.
Yes,
basically.
I know you have a great video on road trip stops on the way from LA to Las Vegas. And one of them is like Alien Fresh Jerky. There's like this jerky place in Baker, California, which is home to like the world's tallest thermometer, is one of the things. But in Alien Fresh Jerky, they have like Zoltar, the thing. But they're like themed like aliens. And then they've got one that's Alien Donald Trump. So it's Alien Donald Trump in a Zoltar
Where else can you find that?
Yeah, exactly, right? So you're like, it's, you know, the only one in the world up the side of the road.
And they used to have a statue to the person who discovered the Arctic.
Oh, really?
There too, and then it got damaged. So you could go to Baker and you could see that statue, just like your Star Trek statue.
The 10th tip is to have snacks. Snacks are super important. You're driving along, you're hungry. There might not be easy access to food in a lot of places along your road trip. And so this is not the world's most organized snack box.
To see what snacks
You're excited to see. It's got sunscreen in it too. But I have a 5-year-old daughter, so you know we've got like goldfish in the snack box.
I was hoping to have one of these pouches today. I'm feeling hungry.
We've got Kirkland fruit spreads. It's we're shooting this in October, so we've got some Halloween themed pretzels. Oh, haichus
are so good.
Yeah, you had a haichu? So they're like Korean candies. We've got some fruit snacks. So get your snacks. What I would say though about getting snacks is like, consider to load up before you go. You know, stop at a Walmart, a Costco, like a legitimate like grocery store. They're gonna be a lot cheaper than if you're at the edge of the Grand Canyon looking for a snack. You're gonna have like a 3 times markup there. Josh, what do you like to take as your road trip snacks?
Like my number one thing I do, like every trip, like I was just on 2 trips in last week and I did it every single time, is I fly into a place, I get my rental car, and I go to Walmart. Yeah. And I'll buy like a 24 pack of water because it's $3.99.
Yes.
And $1.50 for 1 bottle at a gas station. So I'll buy a 24 pack of water. I'll get my snacks. I love this snack that's like, it's like pomegranate seeds and nuts and stuff. But if I'm feeling crazy, you know, I'll get some Sour Patch Kids or something too, you know, to go with it. But
when I am going from home, I always bring a cooler in my car.
That's a good way to do it.
Because I think like having ice and being able to have cold things is kind of like a game changer, because then you can have like sandwiches, you can bring milk. You know, if I'm traveling from home, I'll also have like a big Yeti cup to keep my drinks cold.
Yeah, good call.
And my tea of choice that I get from Costco. By the way, this video's not sponsored.
I've never even seen that tea before. I have to try it.
This video's not sponsored by Itoen, but it could be.
Yeah. Shout out to Itoen.
Itoen, yes, that's right. It's this unsweetened green tea. That's kind of my road trip jam. 11 is to become a gas station gourmet, and don't underestimate gas stations in the USA for the tasty food you can find. Okay, not all gas stations have tasty food, but there are some that are really amazing. Buc-ee's is a great example. Josh, you ever been to a Buc-ee's?
I have a Buc-ee's hat. I love Buc-ee's so much. Like literally, like if there's a Buc-ee's on any road trip, I'll go out of my way to go to Buc-ee's. Those like Buc-ee's nuts or whatever they're called, man, they're like, they have to be horrible for you, but they are so good, and I definitely get down with some Buc-ee's.
They'll have like beef brisket sandwiches.
The sandwiches are awesome there.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Buc-ee's.
I think Kara and Nate did a video like living at Buc-ee's for like 24 hours or something like that, where they just like,
I'll do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
2 days, no problem. And then there's that one Eddie World on the way to Vegas. There's also that huge Chevron on the way to Vegas. I always stop at that one because they got like Bigfoot inside of there. Yes. And they got like a Vegas sign that you can take a picture with, so you don't have to wait in line for the original one.
Well, definitely.
Yeah, those are fun.
Driving the long distance routes, some other ones you might look at on the side of the road are Love's gas stations and also Pilot truck stops. Those are going to be ones that if you stop there, will generally have clean restrooms too.
Yeah, and more options.
Yes.
Number 12 is to check out audio tours. A lot of people sleep on this one. They don't really think about it, but if you're going to a place and they have the audio tour available, I've used it for Road to Hana and I've used it for Fall Colors in New England. And both times I actually really enjoyed it because it'd be like, hey, there's a stop right here, you know, and we'd pull off and it might have been something that I wasn't planning on beforehand. And also it'll kind of give you a history of something like as you're approaching it. So that way when you get out and you go to experience it, you're actually experiencing it with a little bit of knowledge.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I don't use them all of the time, but the 2 times I've used it in the past, I've really enjoyed it. I probably should use it more on my road trips.
Yeah. Personal plug, if you're going to Modesto, California, or you're gonna go check out some of the almond blossoms along the Highway 99, yours truly actually has some audio guides on those places. Yeah, for sure.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I'm done.
Modesto.
Modesto.
You're the king of Modesto now.
I'm the king of Modesto.
Oh man, all right. I can't wait to. I'm gonna check out your audio guide next time I'm up
Sounds
there.
good. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to check it out.
All right, number 13 is golden hour is non-negotiable. And if you're not a photographer, golden hour is the kind of that time when the sun's setting, that hour and a half where it's just the most beautiful lighting that you've seen. I like to call it buttery. Sometimes people make fun of me for that.
I like that.
But it's like that melting butter, you know, coming off like that. And for me, honestly, my road trips don't end usually until sunset. So if you're traveling with me like my dad, you know that until it's dark outside, we're going and we're doing stuff. And sunset basically signals the end of the day.
Right. We can go to the hotel now, wherever that is.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I always like, as much as I don't plan, I usually try to have an idea of where I'd like to watch the sunset at because there's just so many cool areas for that, and picking like a unique location can really give you some good pictures and b-roll and just an awesome experience, like just sitting there and taking it all in as well.
Yeah. No, and I think that like on that, like being there and taking it all in, there are just some really cool places to see the sunset. And like one is in like Key West, and in Key West, all the way at the tip of Florida, there's this place called it's like Mallory Square. And because in Key West you can see the sunrise and the sunset from a little island because it's a small island, and like jugglers come out. And I saw the best street performer I've ever seen, which was this French guy who trains cats. He has trained cats, and the cats jump through hoops. And you ever seen trained cats?
I have not.
You probably didn't even know.
I've been there and I've watched the sunset. I didn't come out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I love the fact that, especially at that spot. So it's like you're watching the sunset, you're watching it over the water. I mean, in California, we've done that thousands of times. But there's so many people there, and everybody clapped when the sunset.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know, I get goosebumps thinking about it because it's just like one of those cool like human experiences to have, you know? And so, I mean, I love that kind of stuff when I'm traveling.
You ever seen the green flash over the ocean?
I haven't. No, I know what you're talking about, but I haven't seen it.
So for those who don't know what I'm talking about, the legend is that at certain times of the year, when there are certain like atmospheric optical propagations, that when the sun sets over the ocean, you can actually see a green flash.
For like a second.
Yeah, for like a second. Yeah. Right.
It'd be cool to see.
In San Diego and Pacific Beach, there's actually like an art sculpture towards the green flash.
And there's a brewery.
Yeah,
Green Flash Brewery.
Yes, there sure is. Tip 14 is to share driving duties and have a co-pilot, assuming that you're not road tripping solo. By the way, there's nothing wrong with road tripping solo, but if you've got other people with you in the car, share the duties. So if Josh and I were road tripping, we might trade off driving. If I'm road tripping with my wife, she doesn't love to drive all that much, so she is the co-pilot. The co-pilot's job is to look at Google Maps, plan the route. If there's other traffic, figure out where that is. So when I sit down in the car and we're taking the family road trip, I'm like, oh, Sigrel, where are we going next? That's it. And her job is to have all those things ready, and then I can just kind of help us drive. How do you share driving responsibilities?
So my dad is usually the one who goes on road trips with me, and he takes the role of the passenger princess.
Okay.
Which is that he doesn't really plan. He doesn't really tell me when things are coming up. He doesn't drive, but he's all there for the snacks and the drinks and, you know, picking the music, and he's all there for that part. He probably would love me calling him that as well.
I love it. I also think, and even as the passenger princess, then your job is to like make sure the driver is also like awake too. Like
for sure, wake up, yeah.
That's right.
Those types of things happen definitely on long road trips. Sunflower seeds are my tip for that. When I'm driving like through the night, you get sunflower seeds because you have to chew them and then you have to spit them, and so it gives you something that you actually have to do to like participate in.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's my tip for that.
Yeah, all right.
Now moving on, we are going to focus on the destination. So we've been focusing on planning, we've been focusing on the journey, and now we're going to talk about what do you actually do when you get to the destination.
What do you do when you get to the destination?
I guess number 15 would be talk to locals. This is something that I didn't do a lot of in the beginning, but my dad kind of really instituted that for me. He loves to, like, anytime we sit down at a restaurant and the waitress comes over, before we even order, he's already asking, like, what is there to do in this city? What's your favorite coffee shop? And I would say like it's a 50-50 on whether you get a good recommendation, but you definitely get some gems sometimes.
Yeah.
Same with going to national parks and talking to the rangers, or even baristas can be great people with recommendations as well. So talking to people while you're on the trip is hard for the introverts, but great for the extroverts on road trips.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, one of the best trips we got on our recent road trip around the big island of Hawaii, we were at Zippy's. We were eating, and we were talking to the waitress, and we were telling her we were going to go to the national park, the Volcano National Park. We were asking what we should see, and she told us something that completely wasn't on our list, which is if you want to see the lava, go at night. Because you can see it glow better, right? But that was one of those examples of like, of all the information I looked at, and maybe I didn't look at the right information, but of all the information I looked at, that was never one of the tips.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah. And then of course it's like one of those to be like, and where do you go? We will spend a lot of talking to locals in national parks. Go to the visitor center, right? Yeah. And we usually like to go when the visitor center opens. So if the visitor center opens at 8, then we'll be there at 8, because there's usually few people there, and the volunteers, the people who work there, they're usually fresh and happy to talk. So just be like, and what kind of one of these open-ended questions? We have never been here before. What do you think we should do? Yeah. And then say, and this is us. A couple 40-year-olds and a 5-year-old.
For sure. Yeah. You don't look a day over 39.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Josh. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, and people love talking about their things too. It's like, I was just in Chicago, and it's like, people might not want to be talking to you about something random, but you say, what's the best pizza spot in Chicago? And it's like, they light up and they're like, let's talk about pizza. Yes, I love pizza. I want to tell you what my favorite pizza place is. And then you might get some, hidden gem. It's like that you didn't know about, or that you want to try. And just a cool way to connect with people while you're on a trip.
At restaurants, one of my favorite questions to ask the staff is not what they recommend, but what their favorite thing to eat is. Because I find a lot of times, like, if it's a Chinese restaurant, what they recommend is the broccoli beef, because that's just what everybody orders, but I'm like, but what is it that you like that's on the menu?
Yeah, for sure. You might get a hidden menu item or something that you never got to try.
Yes, no, and there was a Teddy's Bigger Burgers in Hawaii. I asked this question, and the guy's like, Chris, are you adventurous? He didn't know my name, but he asked if I was adventurous, and I said yes. And he's like, okay, well, my favorite burger is a burger with grilled pineapple and peanut butter, and it's not on the menu. Okay. We'll make it for you. It was really delicious. And so like, good. Every time I go there, because they can make it, that's my order.
Oh, that's cool. Good tip. All right, tip number 16 is arrive early and stay late. This is definitely true for things that are busy. So Chris mentioned visitor centers, national parks is a great idea. Also viewpoints, like things like Tunnel View in Yosemite, things like the amphitheater in Bryce Canyon. Going at sunrise can honestly be some of the best times to be there, because the lighting and the beauty that you'll see, but also the lack of people. So it's easier to park, it's easier to find a preferred spot, to take your pictures from. This is the same for things that are not national parks. Like going to see the Liberty Bell is a great example in Philadelphia, like getting there right when they open, because you can be waiting a long time to see the Liberty Bell. Or going right at the end of the day. A lot of times, like right by the end of the day, people have already left, they're on to the next thing, and so that can be a good time to go. Just don't show up like 5 minutes before they close and want to spend like 30 minutes there. Like, that's not a good way to do anything. The workers will hate you, and you want to give yourself some time to experience something before the thing actually closes.
Note of staying late, and I'm not like going against what you said, but we did a hike in Hawaii when we hiked Diamond Head, and Diamond Head is one where they have a posted time where the trail closes, and then they have a time that's last hike. And so actually one of the best times to hike Diamond Head is last hike.
Yeah.
Because nobody's going up behind you. And so the one time that we've been up on Diamond Head in Hawaii all by ourselves was when we did that. And it's like everybody goes for the sunrise, and so then you're there and it's like super crowded. But like last hike, and yes, we made sure that we left before they had to chase us out. Nobody wants to be that.
No, that's a good tip for sure. It's like seeing when the last entry is, because then you do have that leeway at the end to be able to experience something like by yourself.
Tip number 17 is about lodging. And even though we said like be spontaneous, I think 90% of the time you want to book ahead if you can. You'll get the best rates if you're booking ahead. I know that it used to be a big thing back on road trips like 30 or 40 years ago that you might see like the posted rates outside and you show up to the front desk and check in. You are not going to get the best rates at any hotel if you're showing up at the front desk and checking in. Two other things that I think are really important to consider for hotels. One, what's the parking situation? If you have a lot of stuff and you want to bring it into the room, do you get to park near your room? You know, some like big resort hotels, you might be parking 15 minutes away from your room. So you might even prefer on a long road trip to have the motel style where you can park right in front of your room. I also think breakfast is an important consideration, particularly if you're in small towns that don't have any other places to eat. There might not be a Starbucks next door, things like that. So looking at whether the hotel has breakfast, and if they don't, then making sure the night before you've actually brought something so you have something to eat in the morning. Josh, how do you deal with hotels on your road trips?
Those are all good tips, especially the breakfast one. There's been lots of places where I'm like super remote and like an hour away from
ain't nothing to eat. You're like, I'm hungry.
Something is nice. I kind of have like 3 different buckets. The first bucket is when I'm traveling by myself, and when I'm traveling by myself, all bets are off. I'll stay at a $20 motel.
Oh, all right.
I'll sleep in my car. I'll go camping. Like and even with my dad, we're kind of like a little bit more into the nicer area now, but we'll go pretty low key. I mean, on my Scotland road trip, we went to a hotel and they didn't even install the toilet seat on the hotel, on the toilet. So
nice. Quality.
But then when I travel with my wife, I try to get those really like the nicer hotels, the nicer experience, the robes in the in the bathroom and everything.
Up to at least a Motel 6.
At least a Motel 6. And then traveling with my kids now, I find that it's the easiest thing by far is to do an Airbnb because normally we do a little bit slower travel. So we'll do like 3 days somewhere, and to be able to have like multiple bedrooms and a little kitchen where we can cook and stuff, it just makes everything so much easier. So that's kind of how I do my lodging.
Yeah, we with a 5-year-old, we have 1. Josh has 2 kids, and we've been enjoying what I would call the like apart hotel or like apartment hotels. And this is probably where like Josh and I might diverge a little bit. Like I like a front desk. So like I like people who can like, if my room's broken, they'll give me another one.
If they don't have a toilet seat, you want them to put it on?
I kind of do. And so there are a lot of hotels that are in that category that you can get the kitchen and the extra rooms and things like that. And so we've also found, and I guess this is like before kids versus after kids, our daily room rate price has gone up. Because we're like, we are now into like, it can't be the smallest room. It has to be like, does it have enough room? Does it have a fridge? Does it have a microwave? Because that just makes it a lot easier.
100%. I agree. I definitely try to prefer any hotel that has like a separated bedroom, because then when the kids go to bed at 7, I can sit and work on my computer or something without trying to like hide in the bathroom or in the dark or something. That doesn't always happen, but
but once or twice.
All right. Yeah. Oh yeah. I've had many nights working on in the bathroom while my kids are sleeping. So number 18 is to create some type of digital souvenir from your road trip. We kind of do this one a little bit different, but something I started in the last year is that I was collecting too many souvenirs. I don't have any more space on my fridge for all the magnets that I have, know? And so I actually picked up one of these things. It's a little printer that doesn't have any ink in it, so it just prints with magic or whatever, I have no idea, and it prints out these little pictures that are really, really cool. They're really easy, and they're stickers. So I actually have a travel journal, and when I travel, I'll take like 2 pictures from the day and I'll print them out at the end of the day. I'll stick them in my travel journal, and then I'll do some writing or something, and then by the time I get back from my trip, I have like my written journal, but I also have pictures that are in it. So I've been a huge fan of this, and that's what I've started to do for kind of my souvenir. Put a link in the description. Yeah, this video is not sponsored by Canon, but it could be. So I'm actually gonna look at getting one of those because I think that's pretty cool. But what we've been doing on our trips, you take 1,000 photos, so we'll at least go into Google Photos and like
heart the ones that are like the good ones from the day. You know, and also looking at like, if you shoot a bunch of videos, then, you know, what is that 10-second highlight from the day? And like doing that each day. So putting it into CapCut or whatever your favorite video editing app, and just like having that at the end makes it so much easier. So then you can like look back on the trip like the day later, rather than, have you ever had a pile of video footage that you've just never done anything with 10 years later, right?
No,
So,
100%.
yeah.
I mean, I'll have like 100 photos from the day, so that's a good idea to just like favorite them, because I don't even do that very much. So.
Okay.
And then I love just like a year later when it pops up and it's like, what you did a year ago.
Oh yeah, right.
And then I'm like, yeah, there we go. That's the reason why I took those videos. It popped up a year later.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
And then for number 19, it's just leave it better than you found it. I mean, this is a principle that we both care about whenever we're traveling, and that's, you know, you just, if you see trash on the ground, pick it up. If you're creating trash yourself, make sure you're not leaving it anywhere on the ground. They say, you know, just leave footprints and take photos. Just like this, you know? That's a principle that I think is important for road trips and for travelers in general, is just trying to respect and preserve the places that you're experiencing.
Yeah, it's interesting seeing this through the lens of a 5-year-old, because my daughter will, like, when she sees trash, she'll be like, who did that? Like, who would throw that right there? You know, and it's like, it's one of those to be like, as an adult, you can easily just become numb to it, you know? It's also interesting traveling around Japan, where like, you know, they're very respectful about, yes, if you have trash, you have a bag for it and you put it in there, and there might not be a trash can because there probably isn't, right?
Yeah, you gotta hold it for a while.
Yes, right.
Yeah, I mean, I've even hiked with my kids, and we've like, because they like collecting, you know, like looking at leaves or something, and so I'm like, well, hey, here's a bag, why don't you collect all the trash you can find?
There you go.
And they love doing that too, and you know, it's a good way to start the idea of like, we all have to take care of our world. We only get one of them, so you know, you might as well help to try to preserve it, and even pick up trash that's not your own.
Most definitely. Tip number 20 is to plan your re-entry. I find there's way too many people that plan their trip 110% all the way up to the edge of the moment they then have to go back to work or school. That's Josh, yeah. And then they're so exhausted. And
I'll sleep when I'm dead.
okay, all right, that's it. We will generally plan our trip so that we're coming back on Saturday, so that then we have Sunday to like unpack and do our laundry and just decompress, and then go back to work at a leisurely time on Monday.
Basically, this video should just be accepting Chris's tips and just ignoring my tips.
I think Josh probably has more fun though, so you know, that's it.
Yeah, I've definitely rolled into work on a Monday morning and been like, where am I at again? Am I, you know, am I still in Hawaii?
Still on the vacation, probably. Yeah.
You need a vacation from your vacation?
Yes, you most definitely do. Well, Josh, thank you so much for joining me today. This was really great. If y'all want to check out Josh's channel, I'll put a link right about here. And if you want to see the video that we're doing together right after this, which is walking around Old Town Orange, as soon as that's done, I'll put that up here, down there too. All right, and fellow explorers, as usual, we won't say goodbye, because we'll see you in the next video.